welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. I got a couple microcarpa cuttings here. I was sarcastically calling them the twins at one point, and I just kind of keep calling them that so I can actually just give the videos some titles and names and follow along with what's going on. They were one of the many cuttings I got to take during the COVID lockdown time, that spring of 2020. And I just kind of picked them out at one point as being a couple that just really had no character, and I wasn't really sure what the potential was there. I know some people that may live up north may have been thrilled to getting cutting this big to take, but I had a ton of them, and this one was just kind of really tall with no taper. Almost tried to, almost thought about just taking this another cutting again to make it a little bit shorter, but then even this one was kind of short. It's a little bit thicker than this one was, but again, kind of no taper, not a lot of character. So what I did was I took a root splitter and I broke this one from the top and I split this one from the bottom. And that was about 3 years ago that I did that. This is in a playlist. I'll put those videos in the description. So it's been about 3 years since I did that. And it has been just about a year since I've done any updating on either one of them. At times I like to update them together, and there's been some times where one was healthier than the other. I think the last time this one was a little unhealthy and this one was super healthy. They're both really healthy right now. You can tell this one might be looking a little more sparse than this one. I think I repotted this one the last time. I really didn't go back and watch the video. My memory is just going crazy with with me becoming more and more elderly by the day. And remember, the leaves were looking really pale, and this one was kind of sparse, and I actually put this one in some pretty deep shade, left this one out in the sun, and they're both growing fine. But this is kind of what happens when you put them in the shade. They get the bigger leaves, and they just they get a little more lush looking, but they definitely get bigger and greener leaves on there in the shade. That's what I'm finding happens when I put them in the shade here in Florida. And again, not complete shade, just kind of in some dappled shade of some palm trees where this one has been out in the complete sun. But along with updating them, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of clean them up a little bit. I still, they are 3 years into their splitting here. I still would like them to just kind of continue growing some health. So I don't think I'm going to prune too many growing tips. I'm just going to try to take out, there's a lot of straight up and straight down growth, just pruning that needs to happen. This one's just going to kind of get a defoliation of most of the older leaves. And a couple shoots are going to come out. I think I will start with the shorter one, and let's see how this goes. Alright, and I think the wound is looking pretty cool right now, but we'll just wait until I get all these leaves off to take a closer look. I would like to point out I did see this guy here. Just a little bit of a black leaf. I see some people really panic when they get stuff like that. I usually just pull them off. This being in Florida does help me keep my trees nice and healthy, but one or two yellowing leaves with some black spots really isn't anything I feel like you need to panic about, and it doesn't seem to be a problem. Let's see, take that out. Alright, and now clearly you guys, this thing never really has gotten a good head of steam with an apex coming up out of here. There are 3 branches that are kind of in that area. This one is more on this branch than anything, and this one and this one seem a little bit closer to the scar as far as healing goes. I feel like this one is a little more independent of these 2 branches here, and I'm probably going to take this one out and this one out, but I'm going to hit this with the knob cutters here first. Just trying to see if I can't get this to start doing a little bit better healing than it has been doing. It'll be hard to get on camera there since I didn't really take all the leaves off, and I don't really want to take all the leaves off. But I'd hate to take out one of those branches and then or take and leave only one branch and then do damage to the only one branch that's left. That's why I'm doing this first. And just a little live wood around the edges, no big deal. But I just kind of did shave that down a little bit. Give that a little bit of a more realistic scar to heal there. And then I will take out instead of having 3 branches growing up there, it'll just be the one. Hopefully that'll get a good head of steam. Start wrapping over on that a little bit. Oh, and then while we've got it here, this side has already been rolling over pretty well and getting lots of interesting little aerial roots coming out of there. And on the other side, this other side for a little while was showing no signs of rolling over. It's got just a little showing up there. And then this aerial root popping out of here looks like it's coming through the trunk, but I've been having a hard time, or this one actually, been having a hard time kind of telling where it's coming from there. But that's part of the cool part for me about these trees down here in Florida. All right, and then there's this guy. It's not as dark green and lush, but does have a lot more branching on it. At one point, see these aerial roots here that are kind of dried up looking? Not this year. I think it was either last year or maybe just before the hurricane when the split would have been a year old about. This had a ton of aerial roots coming out of it. I thought maybe I'd get a little banyan look coming out of there and then it would help it heal up some. And then the idea, I've been leaving most of the leaves on here that I can. And for some reason, those aerial roots just kind of dried right on up. I don't think there's even any, there's no signs of any new stuff starting. And again, we'll take a closer look at it once I get some of this superfluous branching off of there. I guess I can just start right here. And I think that's about it for this one. I'm just going to kind of try to leave it as healthy as I can. Let it keep building up some steam. Take a couple more of these just older leaves off there. And here on this side, just to look at the split, I thought I'd end up having to fight this trying to close itself up some. But I guess maybe that was just kind of, I don't know if I was hopeful it would happen or if I didn't want it to happen. I thought I'd have to maybe shove something in there to keep it apart, but it hasn't been an issue yet. I was thinking maybe at some point I'd have to do some carving on this deadwood here, just blend it in a little bit better. But even now you can see a few pieces there just crumbling off. Ficus wood, especially untreated ficus wood, will just continue to rot. So my hope is that as I can keep as much momentum in the tree going as I can, that as the live wood just kind of comes around the deadwood, it either kind of like ejects it or the deadwood just kind of crumbles and doesn't become an issue as for, like I said, having to carve it or anything. I mean, I'm pretty happy with the development considering it was just an experiment. Next spring, if this thing keeps up its health through the winter and the other one, I'm thinking next spring might be a good time to go ahead and maybe wire them up a little bit. As long as it doesn't lose too much momentum over the winter.